Let's jump right into why sometimes the most foolish people end up in power, and what that means for all of us trying to get a handle on self-improvement. Hey everyone, welcome back to BetterMe. You know, the place where we dive deep into self-improvement, but like a buddy telling you the truth over a cup of coffee. A little wisdom, a little humor, and no boring lectures. Today, we're unpacking a wild idea. Why do the least competent folks often climb the ladder to the top? And what can this teach us about personal development, emotional intelligence, and yes, even how to be disciplined? Now, this might sound like a rant about politics or business, but hang tight, because this is actually about how all of us can understand the sneaky side of leadership and protect ourselves from the traps it sets. Let's start with a question. Have you ever looked at someone in charge and thought, wait, how did that person get here? Maybe it was your boss, or a politician, or even the loudest voice at a family dinner. It's frustrating because we assume intelligence, discipline, and a growth mindset would naturally get you ahead. But turns out, that's not always the case. So here's the first thing to chew on. Appearing competent often matters more than actually being competent. Niccolò Machiavelli, a guy from the 16th century who wrote some pretty controversial stuff about power, nailed this centuries ago. He said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." Basically, in the game of power, perception beats reality. If you look like you know what you're doing, people will follow you, even if you don't. That's not just old school philosophy. Modern psychology backs this up. There's this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people with less knowledge tend to overestimate their ability, while experts often doubt themselves. So ironically, the loudest and most confident voices in the room are not always the smartest. And confidence? Man, confidence is like a magic ticket in leadership, even if the person's actual skills are questionable. Studies have found that people who appear confident get picked as leaders more often than those who actually have deep expertise. Think about how many times you've seen someone bulldoze their way to the front by just acting sure of themselves. Sometimes it works, sometimes it crashes and burns, but it's a real phenomenon. But it gets darker. Machiavelli also pointed out that those who rise to power often don't just stop at faking competence. They actively surround themselves with people less competent than themselves. Why? Because real talent threatens their shaky hold on control. Sound familiar? Maybe you've worked somewhere where asking questions or showing expertise felt risky, like you were rocking the boat too much. This competence drought around leaders is not just bad luck. It's a survival tactic. Weak leaders pick loyal yes people instead of capable challengers, and before you know it, an entire organization can spiral into dysfunction. So, what does this mean for personal growth and self-improvement? Should we just give up on being disciplined or emotionally intelligent because the world rewards the loudest and luckiest? Not at all. Recognizing these patterns actually gives us a huge advantage. Here's the key. Understand that real personal development, genuine growth mindset, and self-discipline is about mastering yourself, not playing the political game of looking good. And that brings us to the real power tool, emotional intelligence. When you learn to manage your emotions, see through the noise, and stay focused on what truly matters, you build resilience. This emotional control helps you avoid falling for simple answers to complex problems. It's easy to be drawn to quick fixes or charismatic leaders promising the world. But self-improvement means embracing complexity, knowing that progress is messy, and practicing patience. Let's tie this back to time management because, believe it or not, it plays a big role in how we resist the trap of superficial success. If you're constantly overwhelmed by distractions or crises, whether at work or in your personal life, you lose mental energy to think critically. That's exactly what manipulative people count on. Good time management is not just about productivity. It's about protecting your mind's bandwidth so you can focus and make better decisions. So, how do we do that? 1. Build habits that guard your focus. That means minimalism in your daily tasks and surroundings, cutting out the noise so you can focus on what's really important. 2. Cultivate a daily, stoic mindset. When life throws chaos at you, Respond with calm and clarity rather than panic or rashness. 3. Practice self-discipline, not just to get things done, but to keep your emotional intelligence sharp. And here's a secret. Personal development is not about perfection. It's about consistent, mindful effort. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you choose substance over style, you're winning the game that most people don't even see they're playing. Your growth mindset is what keeps you moving forward, even when the world seems to reward the loudest, not the wisest. Remember that real leadership and power come from self-control, emotional intelligence, and the courage to face complexity without falling for the easiest story. And before we wrap this up, let's take a moment to talk about what you can do to stay sharp in this tricky game of power and influence. Because here's the thing. While the world might reward confidence and loud voices more often than it rewards actual competence, you have a secret weapon: your ability to think deeply, stay disciplined, and keep your emotional intelligence finely tuned. These qualities won't make you the loudest in the room, but they'll help you see through the noise and make smarter choices for your own life and growth. Start by practicing patience with complexity. When you face a problem, resist the urge to latch on to the simplest explanation. Remind yourself that real solutions often take time, nuance, and consistent effort. Use principles from Stoicism. Focus on what you can control, accept what you cannot, and develop resilience. This mindset, combined with solid time management and a growth mindset, builds a foundation for true personal development. And don't forget to surround yourself with people who challenge you, not just those who agree with you. Seek feedback and embrace the discomfort that comes with real growth. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because true self-improvement is about becoming a better version of yourself, not just sounding confident or looking good on the surface. Remember, the world may favor the loud and flashy for a while, but over the long haul, disciplined, thoughtful, and emotionally intelligent people are the ones who shape their own destinies. So next time you find yourself frustrated with the world's unfairness or the leaders around you, turn inward. Build your own BetterMe, one disciplined step at a time. And, hey, if you enjoyed this dive into the weird psychology of power and self-improvement, stick around because we have so much more to unpack on this channel. Join me next time on BetterMe, where self-improvement is serious, but we don't have to be.